Most leaders I talk to, they know their team is underperforming, but they don't know why it's underperforming. So they just start throwing spaghetti against the wall, hoping they get the right solution to the problem that they have, which is a big problem because if you don't know what the source of the problem is, you actually end up hurting your team more than helping it. And by the end of this video, you're going to know the 5 root causes of why a team underperforms, and most importantly, what to do about it. Now, before we get there, it's important that we get aligned on what a team is. Because a team, by definition, is 3 or more people working together to achieve a common goal. You can think a little bit like an elevator. If we all get on the elevator going up a high rise together, but we're going to different floors, we're not a team. We're just individuals on an elevator going up. But if we're all on that elevator going up that high rise and it gets stuck, now we are immediately a team because we all have a shared purpose to get the elevator unstuck. So if we're going to get aligned around what the causes of underperformance are, we have to know that a team is 3 or more people working together to achieve a common goal. There's got to be some shared purpose that brings you together that you want to achieve together. So when those metrics aren't hit, when we're coming up short with whatever our shared purpose is, we know we are now underperforming. It could be a financial shared purpose. It could be a shared mission that we're on. There are lots of different metrics or things that might bring us together as a part of that shared purpose. But if we're not meeting it, whatever that is, that's when we know we are underperforming. So what are the causes of underperformance? Well, there are 5, and they are not complicated, but they're not also easy to solve. And we're going to start today at the very top of the pyramid. The thing that causes more teams to underperform than anything else. And everything else is connected to this one thing. And that one thing is leadership. The fastest way that any team underperforms is a lack of leadership. If there is a leaderless team, that is a surefire way to know that your team will underperform. Now, the tricky part about leadership is that most of the people that are responsible for a team's performance doesn't believe it's them that is the cause of the underperformance. They think they're leading well, but in fact, they're doing the opposite. Every successful team I've ever worked with, coached, and/or studied has had a highly successful leader at the top. And they are ultimately concerned about creating more leaders on that team because every team to be highly successful today needs leaders at every level, not just one leader at the very top. So if leadership is a root cause of your team's underperformance, the quickest and the fastest antidote is to train that manager or that quote unquote leader in how to lead. Because what leadership is someone whose actions that inspire, empower, and serve in order to elevate others. Because when you train leaders how to do that, how to inspire and empower and serve, rising tide lifts all boats. Things go up, performance improves. And leadership is just a set of skills that someone can improve upon and most importantly, learn. Now, you might not have the time to train and develop them and get them up to speed and to build those skills. So that's why you might need to go hire someone else externally to turn it around faster, because it is possible that a leader has lost the team and a new voice is what's required. So the first cause of underperformance is a lack of leadership. The second cause of a team's underperformance is culture. Now, culture is the shared values and beliefs that guide thinking and behavior. It is not words on a wall. It is the actions that a team demonstrates daily. Now, I told you at the beginning, the number one reason is leadership, and the rest are connected because ultimately leaders are responsible for the culture. And that culture produces behaviors, and those behaviors give us the results that we are ultimately trying to get with our team goal. That is what Mr. Kite called the performance pathway. Leadership produces culture, culture produces behavior, behaviors give us our results. So our culture, those shared values and beliefs that guide our thinking and behavior, that can be the second cause of underperformance, because if the team doesn't know what winning behavior looks like, what the expectations or the standards of performance are, it is the quickest way for them not to be met. In fact, if you didn't know what the shared values or winning behaviors looks like, it would be really hard to hold anybody accountable for them. So culture is the second cause that a team underperforms. Now the third, this is where it gets a little bit more tricky, because the third is talent. So you have leadership, you have culture, then you have talent. A leader is only good as the talent on their team. The fastest way for a team to underperform after not having leadership or not having a winning culture is to have team members that aren't very talented, that don't work well together. So you can think of it kind of as, again, a leader's job. It's connected. It's first who and then what. How do we get the best talent that we possibly can on our team and then get them to work well together? Now, think of it like a football coach. If you have no talent, if you have no players, you're not going to be a very good team. Now, the opposite can also happen. You can have really great, talented players, but if they don't work well together, they can underperform in spite of their talent. So the third way that a team underperforms is a lack of talent or having that talent work well together. So what do? The antidote is to always be recruiting highly talented people that fit in alignment with the values of your team. One of my mentors has this great line. He says, you always can have a preference for better character. I've never forgotten it. I think you could take that into this. You can always have a preference for more talented players, more talented team members. So settling for a C or even a B player that doesn't add value to your culture or isn't a good teammate, it is a surefire way to underperform. So part of your job is to make those hard decisions as a leader to get the most talented team members that you can on your bus, not settling, but getting those team members to work well together. All right, so the fourth reason that a team underperforms is a team lacks systems or prioritization. We have good leadership, we have shared values and beliefs, we have good culture, we have talented team members, but we don't have a system that we rely on for execution. We're kind of just spinning our wheels. We don't have any clear cadence of how we operate, when we operate, to the level in which we operate. It is a system problem. We're doing things, but we're not doing in any kind of repeatable way that everybody knows this is how we operate. It's like that old James Clear quote. We don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. The best leaders and the highest performing teams know they need a system of prioritization in order to get there. So what do? There's EOS, there's lots of operating systems out there, but the simplest and the most important that I know is just called GPI. Goals, priorities, initiatives. What is the goal that we're trying to achieve? What are the priorities, the 3 to 5 things that are more important than anything else that we need to focus on? And then what are our daily initiatives and who owns each one that's going to help us get closer to achieving our goal? You could call it what you want. Big rocks, it doesn't matter, but you need a system of execution. If you need to steal one, steal GPI, goals, priorities, and initiatives. All right, so that's the 4th reason why a team might underperform. And the 5th, and probably where the majority of teams fail, is accountability. I know it sounds like a dirty word and think of it only as a negative, but it is not. Accountability is the obligation of an individual or a team to take ownership of their behavior, good or bad, above the standard or below the standard. And every highly successful team I have ever studied or worked with, accountability is at the center of it. They don't run from accountability. They want accountability. They expect accountability. It's like that old saying, what you expect, you must inspect. The best leaders are clear about how they're leading. They're really clear about what winning culture and behaviors look like. They then get the most talented people they can to live out those behaviors. Now they're going to have a system consistently for that team to execute against. And when those behaviors are met, they're going to give recognition or praise, which is accountability, or they're going to have those difficult conversations when they're not met to ensure we get back up to the level that we need to in order for us to achieve our goals. And the best and the quickest way to make accountability the center of your team is to fall in love with having direct dialogues, good or bad. Hey, we're going to bring these things to the surface as fast as possible so people know that we care about it. So those are the 5 causes of an underperforming team. Where is your team falling short now? Because if you know your team is underperforming, you should be able to look at the root cause of what's causing our team to underperform right now. It might not just be one of them. You might have to navigate 2, 3, maybe even 4 of them to get your team back to a level that is exceeding performance. But since you've watched this that long, you are exactly the person to do it. Until next time, be a great leader at work and at home.